Good evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me. And welcome back. Here we are on October the 15th, 2021. Today we're going to talk about the ongoing process, or the first stage of the process I've been through with Patriotic Alternative and the data breach, or the breach of data protection that they have incurred with what I believe clearly violates my rights um, with the data they hold on me. And we're going to go over that. First of all, I'd just like to say that this is not some kind of like gotcha kind of, but this is for public record because I do fear that as this process goes on, I'm going to get more and more harassed by people at Patriotic Alternative. I already have received harassment, so I am making this as a public statement to prevent and to document anything that may happen in future. Right, this will be a time capsule of sorts of what happened at the time. Right. Okay, so from now on out, this is what it is. This is going to just be a recollection of what has happened so far in this process and what the future holds will be for, well, potentially a future date. But I'll get you up to that point. So let's get going. Open my window, share entire screen. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that. Okie dokie. There's Brit Talk. Say hello, Brit Talk. There you are. Okay, right. So what's happened? Right. Let's go back to the start, shall we? At around, I think it was on the, I think it was on the 31st of July. There was an incident involving me, in which I had obtained in the previous week's information from a person with name anonymous, about a certain activity that was asked of him, and it was of a very nefarious nature from a one Kenny Smith. So in hearing that, I put out three at the time before anything happened. I put out, actually, three. There was one screenshot of Mark Collett asking me, this was over a year ago, to find the names of Hemmingford Gray, Thrift Wolf, Brutus, Sojourner, etc. People you would associate with, or as they were called, the 37 gang. And yeah, so that was the first piece of information to corroborate that Patriotic Alternative, the leader Mark Collett, does ask people to go out and find other people, right? Okay, so that was the first piece. Second piece was a voice note from Kenny Smith himself about the Doxers guy, saying that they were looking for him, and they had him in his car. And thirdly, it was the one about I believe it was the 4 months voice note in which Kenny talks about how he didn't care if this would have gone on for as long as another 4 months, as long as they got the guy, right? Okay. Or to corroborate this guy's story, that what he's saying, that he was asked something to do, which was go to a registrar's office and collect information on said gentleman, this Doxers guy, which, as I know, would have been used for, shall we say, rather unpleasant purposes, as the conversations I've had with Kenny Smith myself. So after putting out these things to corroborate this guy's story, I receive a knock on the door at 7 a.m. at my home. Very next day, as soon as those voice notes went out, I get a knock at 7 a.m. in the morning. Now, I've had all manner of copes and kind of excuses from many of the Patriotic Alternative supporters. Many who think I'm lying about such an incident. Well, from ranging from the ludicrously absurd, it's just 7 a.m. pizza, to they were just worried about you, right? So I've heard all manner of excuses, but what? So okay, two men turn up at my door at 7 a.m. They, as as I approach the door, they obviously hear me coming to the door, right? And before I open it, I hear them say "Madfwaz." Now, if people come to your door and don't, and obviously don't use your real name, that just tells me that you're from one specific place, right? Okay. I mean, my real name's out there, so why did they use Madfwaz, right? They obviously knew that Fraser Hudson used the pseudonym Madfwaz online, right? Okay. And I very rarely, and I've only used that in specific places. A being my gamer tag on, or on Steam. But anywhere else, no, that's not really it. Only on, as I say, Steam and Telegram. So there was two places that it could come from. I don't think anyone on my Steam friends list is turning up at 7 a.m. to my house. Probably they don't even know. Half of them don't even know who I am, like, or where my real first name. Okay, So there we are. So it came from one place. I can be certain of that, right? And the only people to know my name as being Madfwaz is connected with my real name, Fraser Hudson, would be Patriotic Alternative, because I was vetted by them. I was vetted by them in January the 20. I was just after Burns Night, so it would have been the 27th, was it? 27th of January, in which Kenny Smith, Cyborg, and Adam West turned up at my house to do the vetting process. Yeah, so I handed over a passport, photo ID, and a utility bill from. Yeah. So with that, right, that's where my details went. So they have that. So then my complaint now on the data breach here is I asked as soon as the troubles with Chris, Patriotic Talk, Chris Mitchell, started in the beginning of July. It was, wasn't it? I think it was beginning of July, was it? Yeah, beginning of July. The trouble with the accusations against Chris, and MI5 rang up, and supposedly we've all heard it. If you've listened to the Times journalist recording today that came out, you'll understand kind of like the smears that they've tried to associate with Chris. And I took Chris's side. I thought that this was bullshit. Again, there was other incidents within PA that I'd witnessed over the past 4 months prior to that, in which other people had been removed because of wrongthink. And it wasn't anything to do with being too spicy or too, should we say, controversial. It was more of you aren't willing to follow certain people's rules or ambitions. Um, so yeah, with that kind of blew up, and I said, right, I'm done, and I'm done with this. I want out. So I fired off to the person who I knew had my information because he was the one who took it. Right, Kenny Smith. I fired off a Telegram message to him, which I can show you now. Right at the bottom. Here it is. I took this screenshot on the 4th of July, as you can see in the bottom corner there. But the actual message was to him on the 3rd of July, as you can see there. Took him a whole day to respond. In the message, it says, from myself, please remove my details from your database. I am no longer a part of your, in quotation marks, community. Thank you! Exclamation mark. Then I noticed that he had obviously seen the message, but yet not replied on the 3rd. So I sent him another one saying, I see you have seen this. Can you confirm to me that you've destroyed any and all information to do with me being associated with your organization? Then obviously the next day he responds, done. So I had verbal confirmation from Kenny, the guy I had given my information to, that he had destroyed my information, or claimed to have. Then, so when we get back to the incident with me being, uh, doorstepped at 7 a.m., what that was for me was, if you knew what Kenny was like, that was an intimidation tactic. There was no goodwill there. There was no, oh, how are you, kind of 7 a.m. booty call, right? Yeah, this was an intimidation thing, because I'd put out a voice note confirming, corroborating a story from another guy, a guy who was not actually even a member of PA, or so I believe, right? Asking to commit data protection fraud, right? This is serious, yeah. Okay, so I get a 7 a.m. doorstep. They say my online gaming name. I know who this is from. I do not open the door. First thing I do, I call the police. In which time the two men run off. Yeah, I get onto the police and I make a police report right there and then. Right, I say to the police, "Look, I've just been tried to be intimidated. Can you please come and visit me, and I'd like to talk to you about this." Right? Okay, so I make a police report that, and I get a crime number from them. Right, so I have the crime number. I've got all that. Why is this? Why is this? Why is this a problem? Why is this a breach of data? Right? Because this happened a whole month after they said they had destroyed my data. Right? After Kenny confirmed a whole month afterwards, they said they had destroyed my data. Right? Two unknown men to me turn up at my door at 7 a.m. Right? Where did they get that information from? Seems a bit weird. The only ones who I know I've in recent years who've given personal data to is Patriotic Alternative. Like, no one else has turned up at my door. I mean, you know. So there we go. So now, after this event, I start the process of trying to sort this out with the Information Commissioner's office, and I file a subject access request. Okay, so if we go to here we are. This is it. This is a subject access request, right? In which you can file a report in which well, what is it? You can file a report. Is it a report? I don't know, but you can ask for your data to be either shown to you, or in the event, you can ask for a company to delete your data. Correct? Right. So I filed this with Patriotic Alternative, and I ask the person behind the contact form on their website, can you please delete my data, right? And I receive an email back from Laura Towler at wewerenever.asked.co.uk, right? That says, yeah, we can do that. We've deleted your data. It's all been deleted. This was on the 2nd of August, 3 days after the men had turned up to my house. So on the 3rd of August, they're claiming that they can delete all my data. So they've still got my data on their website 3 days after the men had turned up to my house, and a whole month after the Kenny Smith has confirmed to me that he has in fact deleted it. This is data protection. This is in violation of that. If you ask via a request, right, to move your data, they should remove it. They have broken the law, right? So we go through the ICO proceedings. Okay, I'll get back to that. I'll show you that. Right. Okay, so There we are. I'll do that. Okay. Okay, here we are. So that's the. Okay, here's my conversation with Laura. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here's the conversation that was recently done with Laura. Okay. This was after many back and forth emails to them and the ICO, asking them to remove all my data. In one email, they claimed that they have. She has removed all my data. Right. Okay. But the problem is, we know that that isn't just the only place, or we cannot be sure that that is how, if they have destroyed your data, because of one specific document that I myself released much later on the 19th of August, I believe it was. This was 2 weeks after the incident with the people coming to my door, and that is to do with the pen drive information, right? So they have these pen drives that are doubly encrypted with supposedly membership information, but again, if I know what I do, then it's not just membership data they keep on those drives. Of, say, paid up members, or people donating or whatever. It isn't just members, their data they're keeping on those drives. It's also data of people who are, shall we say, left-wing opponents. Again, another illegal act. Yes, collecting data on political opponents. Well, that's Schedule 7 of the Terrorism Act, isn't it? So, okay, we have Laura here saying that in response to a question I'd asked her, could I ask that you send me the information contained from my inquiry about my personal data from the official Patriotic Alternative email account? Because at this point, the back and forth came from Laura's personal email account. You see, another kind of breach of, should we say, company rules is the company must have a official email account that you can read, not a personal email account. If it is a a registered company with Companies House, it must have a company email account in which you can obviously correspond with. Otherwise, it's not considered official, right? So up until this point, right, so far, in all of my interactions with Patriotic Alternative, and even yourselves, anyone who's interacted with through their contact form, all of that can be considered should we say, non-official communication, because it's not coming from an official website. It's not coming from the official account that they should hold. Right. So that's another violation, isn't it? If there, and I ask, if there is a reason why you cannot, as in send me an email from the official email address they should have, I'm sure you could give reasons to me why, when I contact you through the Contact Us section on your website, I received a personal reply from your email address and not the company email address account. There we go. Okay. Her response. Oh, and I also ask her, can you provide me with the person or persons who hold the role as data protection officer? Right. This is another big no. Okay. Dear Fraser, in which she responds, I handle all Patriotic Alternatives website inquiries. This includes handling all data related to queries until our prospective DPO hears back regarding the status of his application, at which point he'll be officially appointed as DPO. Right? Remember the date of this. This is the 10th of September, right? When this email was sent to me from Laura. Now, does anyone know? Anyone put their hand up and remember when Patriotic Alternative started as a company? That's right. It was incorporated in 2020, July of 2020. Now, question. How long have they been without a DPO, right? Because what I'm about to tell you right now is the second part, and we'll come back to this. Laura's official title is Director of Private Limited Company, Patriotic Alternative. This is her email address, okay? Now, you cannot hold or be acting director or you cannot be an acting DPO and a director of a company. That is against the law. Yeah. You cannot do that. That is a conflict of interest, right? Defined by the ICO and the GDPR rules. You cannot have a DPO that is also the director of your company. Now, you've been a company for over a year. How long have you not had a DPO for? That is the big question. How long has it taken, as has my emails to you and the ICO complaint, forced you into appointing a DPO? No response from them. I'll show you an email I sent to them just recently, a few days ago, once we've, shall we say, gone through the video of, well, it just recently got released actually a few days ago, with Laura talking to the Southeast Regional Group about their data. I think I'll play that now. Okay, so here we go.
Hi everyone. So this is just a little video for PA Southeast, and I thought it might be more personable to actually just record a little video so that it's like we're talking, rather than write a really big long message. But I've got some notes, so I'm going to be reading them. So first of all, I just want to apologise that it's been a little bit of a mess with PA Southeast. It's been really frustrating for us because it's the region that we get the most inquiries for, but nobody stepped up to be a regional organizer. And obviously me, Mark and Sam are all based up north, so it's not even one of those things where we could kind of like take it over and hold some events and stuff until somebody stepped up. However, now we do have a media officer, we have somebody doing admin for the Southeast, and we have a few people who are really keen to get things moving. People who actually did things for Harvest Festival and Indigenous Peoples Day by themselves. So hopefully we're ready to start moving moving with PA Southeast. So as you know, PA has a vetting process, and we have this in order to keep our supporters safe. Before we had any vetting, we had Antifa and journalists turn up to our events. Our supporters have been attacked before.
Wait, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna check the stream. Can you all see that? Yeah. Yep. You can all see that. That's good. Right. Okay. Sorry about that.
Hi everyone. So there are two options for people who want to be involved and people who haven't been vetted in the future. I don't think it's dangerous to attend a PA event, but we don't want to take that risk, even if it is only small. And obviously we have women and we have children who attend our events as well, so that's why we have a vetting process. So this group that I'm posting this message in, it's been around for a while, and it includes people who have been vetted and people who haven't been vetted, because I think some people were here from a long time ago, and obviously nothing's happened, and I'm not saying we don't trust them or anything, but we do have a process and we do have to follow it. So there are two options for people who want to be involved with PA Southeast. The first will allow you to attend events and also join the PA Southeast general chat. If you want to do that, all we ask for is one piece of ID and one proof of address. So that's a utility bill or a council tax bill that's dated within the last 3 months. So like I said, that will allow you to attend events and get involved with the general chat and that kind of thing. The next stage, if you want to go further, is the same again, so a piece of ID, a proof of address, and we'll also do a home visit. For people who do that, you can obviously still attend events, join the general chat, but you can also join the PA Southeast community chat, and this will also allow you to be an officer within PA as well. We have to take that extra step with people who are officers because you'll be speaking to people on email, you'll have their email address, their name, that kind of stuff, so we really do have to make sure you are who you say you are. So I understand that some people may have concerns about how we manage your ID and data, which is completely reasonable. I would too. We take data protection very seriously. We have a qualified DPO, data protection officer, and we also have to adhere to the GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation.
Do you hear that? Right. So now, as of, I think the video was released, or it was at least on the 12th, I think, of this month. So 3 or 4 days ago now, it's been out, this video. And now PASON has a DPO, right? Okay. So, right, I'll finish this and then we'll get on to like what the problem with me is in this process.
The only people who will ever see your ID are your regional organiser, but obviously in the case of PA South East, you don't have a regional organiser. So for PA South East, it will be me and our national admin officer, which is Kenny. So only 2 people will ever see your ID. And if at any stage you'd like us to delete your ID and all personally identifiable information, then we have a legal obligation to do that as well. We can't say no, we can't keep it. So for those of you in this chat who have been through the vetting process, we're now going to send you a link to either the general or the community chat, or both, obviously, if you're in the community, depending on how far you've gone. And from these groups, we'll be holding events for the Southeast, and we're hoping that maybe somebody might step up to be a regional organiser from those groups as well. You know, once we start meeting with each other and doing activism and holding events, hopefully somebody will say, yes, I can do this. I'm going to be a regional organiser. Everybody else, so if you haven't gone through the vetting process, everybody else will receive an email from me today from the PA Southeast email address, and that email will invite you to go through the process. And obviously, if you don't want to go through the process, you're not interested anymore, absolutely fine, just let us know and we can remove your details. So please do feel free to message me if you have any questions or concerns, or even if you just like to get things moving straight away and you want to get, you know, straight to events, straight to the groups and that kind of stuff, feel free to drop me a message and we can begin taking you through the process. Final thing to say, in 2 weeks' time, this chat that we're currently in, which is a temporary chat, will be deleted. We don't actually have public peer groups with regards to the regions, just because we just can't risk it, you know, with Hope Not Hate and Antifa and that kind of thing. So in 2 weeks' time, this chat will be deleted. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope it's okay. Like I said, if you've got any questions, do feel free to message me. And thanks for your patience with the Southeast. Hopefully we can get things moving now.
Okay, I'll say 2 things to note from the last part of that second part. She confirmed that Kenny Smith and the regional organizer are the people who are going to be able to hold your information, right? So thank you, Laura. You've confirmed that Kenny Smith has, in fact, been holding my information as regards to me. Thank you for that, because I think that's going to become very, very relevant later down the line of this process. So, right. How does this all relate to me then, right? So I've been back and forth through this process, and on the 17th of September now, okay? On the 17th of September, the ICO, after collecting all the information and having the pen drives PDF file submitted into evidence, they wrote to me and to Patriotic Alternative, giving them 28 days to reply to me. I'm going to go over this now, on what they need to do to rectify this breach of data protection, which in their eyes, obviously, they clearly have a case for it. Okay, right. So let us go to, okay. Oh, yeah, also, before we finish that, I will say that I have, after seeing this video, sent another contract thing to Laura Towler on the 12th of October. Is it 5 days ago now? Jeez. All right. Okay. So on the 12th of October, I sent a message through their contact form again, saying, "Dear Laura Towler, I've recently seen a video in which you state that you're no longer the acting DPO of Patriotic Alternative. I was wondering if you could tell me who the new data protection officer is. Kind regards, Fraser Hudson." I've not heard back from them at all. I asked that question because it relates to my case, because it seemed that at the time Laura was the acting DPO, and if they have appointed a new DPO, that new DPO should have got in contact with me due to what the ICO have requested. So let's go on to this. Okie dokie. So here is the ICO's email that was sent to Patriotic Alternative, right? Okay, so dear Chief Executive, Information Commissioner's Office ICO has received a complaint about the way your organization processes personal data. We received a complaint on the 5th of August 2021, and I have attached supporting information from the information provided. We understand that you've responded to the complainant Fraser Hudson's request to have his personal information deleted. However, he has also complained to the ICO that he believes his personal information may have been inappropriately shared by Patriotic Alternative with third parties. The ICO's role. Our role is to uphold information rights in the public interest, promoting openness by public bodies and data privacy for individuals. One way we do that is complainants from individuals who believe there has been an infringement of a data protection law. Section 165 of the Data Protection Act 2018 requires us to take steps to respond to the complainant, including investigating it to the extent that we feel is appropriate and informing the complainant of the outcome. The outcome of this complaint. Your customer has complained to the ICO that your handling of their data protection complaint. They believe that you have not complied with your obligations under the data protection legislation. It is our decision that there is more work for you to do and now expect you to take steps to address any outstanding issue with your customer. What we need you to do now. Okay. One of the ICO's stated goals is to increase public public trust and confidence in how their personal data is used and made available, and relies on the data controllers being accountable to their actions in relation to handling data and responding to information rights requests. Accountability is one of the data protection's principles and makes you responsible for complying with the UK General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR). You must be able to demonstrate your compliance to your customer and work hard to promote trust, resolve their concerns without the need for individuals to come to us. The attached document provides more detail about this, so I've obviously sent them a checklist to do. As a regulator, we look to organizations to effectively manage and resolve data protection complaints they receive. When your customer comes to us to complain, they are in fact telling the regulator that they believe you are breaking the law. Reports of this kind are something that we treat seriously and robustly. We do not expect to receive complaints when there is still further work that you can do to better explain the processing in question to your customer, or to put things right when they have gone wrong. We therefore require you to revisit the way you have handled this matter and consider the further action you can now take to resolve this complaint. We expect organizations to deal with the data protection complaints when they receive and to proactively work with their customers to provide an appropriate resolution. Okay, if you believe that you have complied with data protection law and you need to explain this in detail to then you need to explain this in detail to your customer. You also need to be confident that you have done all you can to find the appropriate resolution. If your organization have done more to resolve the concern, then we expect you to take steps now to resolve the issue with your customer. I have included a checklist in the attached document to help you with this. You should be able to tick off all the points on this non-exhaustive list. We expect you to contact your customer in the next 28 days with further detail. If you're unable to meet this time frame, we expect you to contact your customer to let them know and to advise them what to expect. You do not need to provide a response to us at this stage. However, if we receive a further complaint about this processing, we will carefully review and assess the response you have provided to your customer. If we consider that you are infringing on data protection law, then we will consider using our formal powers and any sanctions available. Although individuals do have the right to raise complaints with the ICO, you should not be viewed as a routine second stage in the resolution process, as indicated above. We expect organizations to take their personal data obligations seriously, and this should reduce the need for individuals to approach the regulator directly. Okay, so question: what's happened? It's been 28 days, and I have heard zero from Patriotic Alternative in regard to what the ICO has asked of them. 28 days have passed, so it has moved on to what I would consider a stage 2. I have informed the ICO that I have not received a correspondence from Patriotic Alternative today, and that I would like to take it further. Okay, so what else is there? Here we go. I'll read you what they wrote to me now. Okay, and here's the that was the message to Laura saying that she had deleted my stuff, but she deleted sign no more. Right, so supposedly I'm not on their website anymore, newsletter, right? Sign up so you don't have to account or whatever, right? Okay, I'll show you that my details later are actually still on their system, which is again something you said they've deleted my data. Doesn't look like they have. Okay, right. So we'll get back to what the ICO wrote to me. Dear Mr. Hudson, thank you for submitting a complaint about processing personal information. The ICO's role, part of our role, complaints the individuals who believe there has been an infringement of data protection law. We deal with complaints to see that like this under Section 165 of the Data Protection Act 2018, which requires us to take steps to respond to complaints, including investigating to the extent we feel is appropriate. It also requires us to inform the complainant of the outcome of their complaint. We use complaints to build up a picture of the organization's information rights practices so that we can identify and target poor performing organizations. Details of the action we've taken is available on our website. The outcome of your complaint. We have considered the issues that you have raised with us, and our decision is that there is more work for the organization to do. We have therefore raised your issues with the chief executive via the data protection officer. Okay, right. This was back in 2000. This was back in September 17th, right? Okay, or before, right? This was before this video came out saying that they've appointed a new DPO. So who did they talk to? Did they talk to Laura when they talked to their DPO, right? They talked to the DPO. That was supposed to be passed on to them. So if Laura was still acting DPO when they received this email, I'm not fully sure on what's meant to be happening here. I'm gonna follow it up with the ICO. But if they talk to Laura about this and they've not heard anything from a whole month, they can't. I don't think they understand the gravitas of the situation. That they can't ignore this. Like, and if they have, and they know they've been caught out in the fact that acting DPO and being a director can't do that. That's against the law. So yeah, it'd be interesting to know which director, which DPO they talk to, right? So okay, and outstanding matters. I've attached a copy of the letter that we have issued to your organization and expect they will be in contact with you in due course. What the ISO street goals increase public trust, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Trust, personal data is used and made available. Data controllers are responsible for ensuring they adhere to the law and the principles of the Data Protection Act, and includes making sure that individuals understand how that applies to their circumstances and to the processing that they are carrying out. In your case, we expect the organization to fully address your complaint by telling you what they're going to do to put things right, or if they believe they have met their data protection obligations by explaining fully how they have done so. I have not received a single thing from Patriotic Alternative, either explaining if they have fully explained what they've done to rectify the situation. I've heard nothing. Okay, absolutely nothing. Silence. Okay. We have allowed the organization 28 days to consider the issues that you've raised with us and to consider the next steps in your case. As such, we have closed your case and don't intend to take any further action. However, if you don't hear back from the organization after 28 days, then please let us know, which I have. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. We have recorded these issues and the details of the organization that you complained about to help us to better understand how data controllers are dealing with information rights issues. Okay. So my complaint is fully logged. It'll be on some database somewhere and some thing saying that, Patriotic Alternative, maybe a bit dodgy with data. They're one of the, I don't know what's going to happen, be on some survey or something. Right. Okay. So yeah, that's the state of play at the moment with regards to how my data has, well, the fact that they still haven't addressed the problems. My issue was that two men came to my door. I did not know them. Knowing my online handle, my pseudonym, and they came to my house, which, you know, you would need to know, again, my address, right? And no, most people don't know my address, yeah, but PA do. So it seems like, and I'm going to go over the privacy policy now of Patriotic Alternative, and what they even state in their own privacy policy, that these two individuals, they are either a third party, which then breaks the law yet again, or they are PA members, right? But we've heard nothing from PA. There's been complete silence on who these two people were. It's been recorded in obviously in a police report. There is documented evidence of them entering the building and using the lift. So I'd like to know now, like, are we going to address this PA? Where's this going? Like, why have you given me the silent treatment? What do you think you're going to do by just saying nothing? Do you not understand that this is only going to make things worse for you? So next we are going to look at privacy policy. Is everyone all right? Yeah. Okay. Going to look at. Oh God, I heard my own voice. That's disturbing. Okay. Here's Patriotic Alternative privacy policy. Okay, let's have a look at this. This is interesting. So, why the party is allowed to use information in this way, right? Okay, so the party is registered with Companies House in the UK. Yeah, they're a limited company by guarantee. Our work is designed to promote our values and engage UK citizens in the democratic process. Yeah. Yeah, okay. According to our work, it is considered to be of substantial public interest. Because of that public interest basis, we are entitled to process sensitive and personal data, which relates to your political organisations and your personal data more generally, for purposes of enabling us to perform our work effectively. Specifically, that processing may include using those aspects of your personal data to help us plan and execute political campaigns, canvass for your support, such as visiting or calling you, raise funds, perform casework that relates to you and your local community. You do the right to ask to stop us processing your data for these purposes, and you can read details about those rights here. In addition to the above, we may also process your data for other purposes where you ask us to do so, or enter into a relationship with us that requires us to. For example, if you choose to join us as a supporter, we will need to process your personal data to record that you have given us your support in this way. A contract will be put in place between you and us, and we will process your personal data to the extent that we need to in order to fill our obligations under that contract. Yeah, this. So the contract. Where is it? Where's this contract? Is it verbal? Is it, what is it? Is it written? Where do I sign saying yes, I agree to let you use my data this way? Similarly, we may from time to time give us consent to send you communications by email or similar mediums which promote our work. Where you do that, we use details to send you those kinds of communications until you tell us otherwise. Should you ever ask us to stop sending those kinds of communications, we will hold your details on file to ensure that we respect that request. We justify that retention on the basis that we have legitimate interest in holding your data that way. Not if you ask them to delete it, as far as I'm saying. If you ask them to delete your data, they have to delete it, right? So, are they trying to like claim that, you know, if you don't actually ask them to, like, you know, they can just keep your data forever? Which is also a thing that the ICO kind of like goes over, the fact that, you know, they need to justify holding your data for that long. Otherwise, you know, it again is in breach of data protection. It's only for a required amount of time. Finally, where we have received your personal data in various ways described above, we may continue to hold it as part of our records after the relevant processing has stopped. We hold data in this way because we have a legitimate interest in doing so, specifically where you have been a member or a volunteer or otherwise engaged with us by attending a conference or event or responding to a survey or questionnaire. So if you turn up to one of their hiking trips, they get to keep all your data, presumably forever. Um, We have a legitimate interest in holding your personal data to help us monitor the numbers and diversity of people engaged with us, as well as a legitimate interest in making sure that you can follow up any complaints or grievances which you may raise or which people may raise about you. Interesting that was so they're keeping data in case someone complains about you. Circumstances under which we may share your personal data or disclose it to others. The party will not sell your personal data to third parties. Depending on how and why you provide us with personal data, it may be shared within the party, e.g., between local, regional, and national parts of the party. And our elected representatives, you haven't got any of those, have you? You're a company. It may also be shared with those who provide services to the party, service providers in quotation marks. We may use service providers to undertake processing operations on the behalf to provide with us a variety of administrative, statistical, advertising, and technical services. We also we will only supply service providers with a minimum amount of personal data they need to fulfill their service we request. We oblige all of our data processors to sign contracts with us that clearly set out their commitment to respecting individual rights, protecting your personal data, including not using it for any purpose other than providing us with an agreed service or fulfilling their legal obligations and their commitments to assisting us to help you exercise your rights as a data subject. Okay, so I wonder if Kenny Smith, then, if he's holding all our data, signed a contract somewhere. Can we see it? Within your consent, service providers may hold personal data about you in order to facilitate the provision of future services or financial transactions to which you have agreed, such as the payment process, retaining your payment details in order to process agreed future payments from you. Of course, it's all about money. Please note that some of our service providers are based outside of the European Economic Area. When we where we transfer your data to a service provider that is outside the EEA, we seek to ensure that appropriate safeguards are in place to make sure that your personal data is held securely and your rights as data subject are upheld. In almost all cases, we do this by ensuring that the agreements between us and our chosen service providers contain what we call the model clauses that oblige them to treat you personal data as if themselves were based in the EEA. Okay. In addition, we share your personal data with third parties when we are required to do so by law, for example, with the police, where they ask us to assist them with their investigations. Bullshit. Yeah. Yeah. Why do you have a pen drive thing that says hide shit from the police then? In some cases, this may result in your personal data becoming public. In particular, the party and our candidates are required to submit records including personal data of donations above certain thresholds to the relevant regulatory authority. I wonder if that counts for your personal bank account. Convenient, that isn't it? You don't have to disclose it then. In some cases, some of these donations details are made public. For more details about this, please contact us. However, safe and limited circumstances noted above, we will never pass your personal data to any unrelated third parties unless you have given us your permission to do so. Okay, so that's the crux of the matter. Who are these two men? Were they unrelated third parties, or were they part of the party? Yeah, or were they part of the PA group, Scotland group, right? I'd never seen them before. It's safe to say that I want to know who these people were. And are they an unrelated third party? Okay. Right. So that brings us to, finally, has my data actually been removed from all sources of the PA organization? No, it hasn't. Because I keep receiving emails, and that's my email address, mad_fires1080@hotmail.co.uk, from PA Scotland to this day, right? So this was last month's issue of Claymore, Patriotic Alternative Scotland newsletter. My data's still on there, even as we speak on. This was what, the 28th of the 9th. So this was 2 weeks after the ICO said that, they needed to contact me, and this was like 2 months after Kenny said he had deleted all my data and it was all gone. And even Laura assured me, on the, where is that again? Let's find it. There we are. So Oh, there's no date. I'd have to go back and find the date. Okay. But even here, Laura assures me, "Hi Fraser, your data was deleted when you asked for it to be deleted. I'm afraid I don't have a date to show you because there's no record of you on our system. You also just deleted your your newsletter sign up, so you don't have an account with the PA website anymore." So is PA Scotland its own thing? Or is they two different things now? Like, what's going on here? You tell me, folks. But it'll be interesting to now see like how far. Here's another thing. Yep, here we are. Here's all the PA Scotland Claymore newsletters from August, July, May, April. You know, on issue 5, September, and if nothing changes, I expect to see one on the 28th of October as well, probably. So, yeah, that's how far we got in the process so far. Now it's into what happens next, and this has been a well. We'll just see how far where it goes now. But so far, it looks like to me that PA has broken several rules and legislations with regard to data protection. And honestly, at this point, I hope the ICO can do justice to this, and we'll see how far this goes in future months. I think so. Thank you, everyone. That's all I really need to say. Yeah, thank you for joining me this week. We'll see you soon again, hopefully sometime. Hopefully not too soon. But yeah, goodbye, everyone.